Now to 11, record rainfall, heavy flooding, and muddy debris flow. It is a mixed bag as we look live over Southern California, but don't let those peaks of blue fool you. We've got more rounds of rain on the way. Good morning and Merry Christmas. I'm John Kylie's Klimac. The wet weather isn't done with us just yet. We have a live look at the LA River right behind our home here at Universal City, and you can see the water is running high after yesterday's rain. In Altadena, crews were up bright and early to try to clear some of the mud ahead of what's about to come. And we have first alert team coverage from the coast to the Inland Empire. Our team is live across Southern California to show you the impact of this holiday storm. But first, we're going to go over to meteorologist Belen de Leon tracking 2 more rounds of rain. Belen, when does the first one get here?
It's already here. It's moving into Ventura County. Hi, everyone, and Merry Christmas. A reminder that QR code on the bottom of the screen takes you straight to the forecast from the First Alert Weather Team. We got a lot of moisture yesterday. More is on the way, and here you see that next round of rain setting up. It's over Santa Barbara County right now, and it's starting to edge into Ventura County. Now, a lot of us are enjoying a break from the storms, especially Orange County and the Inland Empire, but I've been here all morning, and I've been tracking some scattered activity, mostly over LA and Ventura County. And because our soils are already very saturated, any additional rain that we see today will only exacerbate those flooding conditions. So we do have a moderate risk that's pretty high on this scale of more flooding, especially over LA and Ventura County. Now, a bit of good news is that that flood watch has been lifted over in Orange County, but it continues elsewhere. So we still have the potential of these high rainfall rates and also a possibility for some thunderstorms that will bring some brief heavy downpours, and we can't rule out the risk of an isolated tornado or water spout. And how about those winds? Those winds have not stopped for some of you. We're still seeing some very windy conditions along the I-5 corridor, through the coast, and also in the deserts. Wind advisories and high wind warnings remain in place. Those strong winds could cause tree damage and power outages. I'll be back with more on the timing. John, over to you.
Belen, thanks. Submerged cabins and cars. Hours and hours of rain caused this mud and mess in the San Bernardino Mountains. Evacuation orders for Wrightwood and Lytle Creek remain in effect this morning. NBC4's Amber Frias is in the Cajon Pass. And Amber, we're just talking about the wind. We can see it with all of your hair blowing around there. But crews are using this kind of window right now to help get people out.
Hey, John, that's right. It is very windy out here. We are getting very light drizzle on and off. Hopefully it stays that way and doesn't become more intense like what we saw yesterday, causing that flooding. Now, we are on the 138 near the 15 freeway. This is one of the access points up to Wrightwood that remains closed at this time. Like you mentioned, all evacuation warnings for the Wrightwood community and evacuation orders for Lytle Creek remain in effect. Authorities are also asking people who live in Wrightwood to continue sheltering in place. Now, I do want to show you video of that severe flooding we saw yesterday in those communities. Take a look. We are seeing a lot of mud, rocks, and rushing rainwater in this video, flooding homes and leaving destruction behind, also overtaking part of Highway 2, which still remains closed at this time. Now, today, crews with the county fire department say they are going door to door, checking homes to make sure no one is stuck or unable to get out. They say they're also returning to areas where cars got stranded overnight, working to clear all those locations. Now, more than 120 first responders, that's what we are being told, worked through the night. They say there is reports of 1 injury, a child who suffered minor injuries and was transported to the hospital as a precaution. Now, at this time, there is a shelter still in place for people who have evacuated or are choosing to evacuate. That's at the San Bernardino County Fairgrounds in Victorville. The one that was established yesterday at Serrano High School has now closed. But again, very windy out here, light drizzle on and off, but we'll continue monitoring those conditions for you and keep you updated throughout the day. But for now, reporting live, Amber Frias, NBC4 News.
Amber, thanks so much. LA County is still under a state of emergency with this storm as the county continues to deal with flooding and keeping a close eye on those foothills. NBC4's Ted Chen live in our newsroom with the latest from emergency officials. Ted.
Hi, John. The worst seems to have passed, but we are not out of the woods yet. That is the word from the Office of Emergency Management this morning in LA County as the county tries to stay ahead of these storms. The 5 freeway in Sun Valley is back open again after it was shut down yesterday due to heavy flooding. Caltrans crews used pumps to clear clear the storm drains and brought in heavy equipment to remove mud and debris that had collected on the roads. Flooding was significant throughout the San Fernando Valley, causing headaches for drivers. Officials say LA County remains under a state of emergency, which means it can access state resources if needed. However, officials say the county has fared pretty well through the worst of these downpours.
The worst of the rain has passed, but there still is rain. And because we have received so much rain, the saturation, could pose more problems today, tomorrow, even up until Saturday. But we are not letting our guards down at the county and still working with all of the necessary officials to make sure that people are still safe.
Officials say the county performed a number of swiftwater rescues yesterday, and they're advising people to be very careful if you're outside today, and if you're on the roads, be very patient and keep track of those weather updates. I'm Ted Chen in the newsroom. John, back to you.
Ted, thanks. Evacuation warnings are still in place for our burn scar communities ahead of more wet weather. We saw crews back out in Altadena early this morning. You can see them there cleaning up the muddy mess that's there. NBC4's Keenan Willard live right now along East Loma Alta Drive. And Keenan, you've been there the last couple days as everyone was getting ready for this. Where do they stand now?
We have been here, and for the first time since yesterday, the sun is shining in Altadena today, but the cleanup effort has not slowed down because of situations like this. All the mud that's been dumped off the hillside onto streets like Loma Alta, which is really the hardest hit area we've seen here since Christmas Eve when the rain broke out. You can see the road is closed because of what's happening at the top of the hill here. You can see some of the video we've gotten from overnight and into the morning of just how much mud came past the K-rail barriers down into the middle of the street. A ton of it the crews have had to work through. We've seen city crews, sheriff's deputies up there trying to direct people to other routes to try and make sure drivers don't try to drive through this just because of how much muck and mud is on the street. We've been talking to people here who have said that it has been a very long year for severe weather in Altadena, and it's been difficult dealing with these mudslide situations on Christmas Eve and Christmas. So these crews continuing to work through this today. No timetable on when Loma Alta Drive could be reopened, but we'll continue monitoring the conditions here in Altadena through the upcoming hours. Here in Altadena, Keenan Willard, NBC4 News.
Keenan, thanks. The break in this rain is welcome for people living around the Palisades burn scar. NBC4's Alex Rozier live with an update there. And Alex, even in the calm between these storms, the area continues to be a risk for mudslides.
Absolutely, and the good news right now, John, is that the rain has stopped and the sun is shining out here. A live look at PCH at Las Flores Canyon Road. You can see the road is dry for the most part and the sun is out. But I do want to show you what we did see, kind of the worst of it, which all things considered wasn't really at all a worst case scenario. I'll show you the worst of what we saw this morning, and it wasn't much. Crews out here clearing some mud from a nearby hillside that covered a portion of PCH. But as they were out working, they were still allowing cars to drive on through. Drivers made it through that area with no problems. But we'll bring you back out here. We're live outside Duke's in Malibu. You know, this place is still closed after a February storm that had mud and flooding into their business. And across the way here at Malibu Bungalows, they suffered some damage too. So we wanted to see how they were doing after this recent rainstorm. You can see that there's no rain here, and there's not much on Las Flores Canyon Road, which also had some problems after a February storm. To give you some perspective, I want to show you what it looked like back then in February. The creek was overflowing, runoff rushed down the road, homes were flooded. Malibu Bungalows had that closure. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what it looked like then. So you'll appreciate what it looks like now. But neighbors here tell me that what they want to keep an eye on here is this creek. They are out here keeping an eye on the water because the last time the creek overflowed, today it's rushing, but it's not too bad, and the water levels remain okay. So we're going to keep an eye on it for you. Hopefully they're staying inside, enjoying this Christmas day as the sunshine has returned here in Malibu. John, we'll send it back to you.